Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Tea Time with Brian. Um, Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. How's everybody doing? Welcome. This is episode 12. Thank you for joining me another week. Today I am drinking some turmeric ginseng tea with a little bit of honey. Really good. Also, if you don't have honey, I know I normally tell you honey, but you can do a little bit of brown sugar and it's really amazing. So cheers. Perfect for the weather because it's getting a little chilly outside. But let's dive into our topics today. It's just the reality has set in, and been the reality for a while. But the after multiple recounts, the fact is that Joe Biden is president-elect, and with that, with everything going on specifically with the two Senate races, Georgia is now the epicenter of the battle for the United States Senate. So that is definitely why, we have been getting a lot of attention, which, we're very happy about. This is pretty much going to come to a head on January 5th. The Georgia voters will decide who we're sending to the Senate, the U.S. Senate, and we're just very happy that Georgia is finally getting the attention that it finally deserves. Because, as Andre 3000 aptly said, the South has something to say. And one of the things that I want to make sure I mention is the fact that you can, and this is to most people that are watching, but probably know this, but if maybe you're somebody that is from outside of the state, you can't paint the South and Georgia with one stroke. We are extremely diverse. There's multiple pockets, throughout the state. And, like I mentioned before, this turnout is the tireless work of Black and Brown organizers on the ground. And shout out specifically to Black, Latinx, and AAPI women during just doing the damn thing. Like they definitely made sure that they were catering to voters and they were making sure that they were meeting where they were at, talking the language that they speak, talking to them with things that matter. So definitely always got to give props where props are due, and they did it. And like I had just mentioned, you can't just paint it in one stroke because there are communities of colors that have lived here and unfortunately been disenfranchised and ignored for multiple years. Gwinnett County is one of the most diverse counties to live in, not just in the South, but in the whole entire country. And of course, add to that, the fact that the South is where most Black people live in the whole entire country. We cannot ignore that. And Black women, like countless times, time and time again, they show out at the highest numbers. They're the ones organizing on the ground. They're the ones organizing, the rest of their communities and other communities as well. Just add to that, specifically when we're talking to Georgia, add to that the Black pocket populations throughout the state, such as in the coast from Savannah to Augusta, as well as to, some Southwest with Columbus to Albany. That's just places that unfortunately in the past have been ignored, but throughout the tireless work of multiple organizations, we have seen that these voters that have not turned out in record numbers. They actually research shows that this 2020 election, this is the highest turnout we've had since the year 1900. Like that is crazy. Shout out to us. We turned out, we showed out, we organized, and we did the damn thing. And we just got to do it again for January 5th. Go early voting as well. I will tell you in a second the dates to keep in mind. But yeah, one thing that I want to give just some time to highlight and show just how amazing that is the fact that young people turned out a full 21% of Georgia's votes for the general elections was made by young people, making Georgia's contribution by young people the highest in the country. Like, we did that, y'all. Like, that, what? Like, the highest in the country. So shout out to my young people. We just did the damn thing. We got to do it again, because we got to show them that we, similarly to the South, we got something to say too. We're going to lead. Let the young lead. It is our future that is being decided, so we must take the reins, and we must take the lead when it comes to it. So we got to show out and turn out. So yeah, and just we're gonna do it again. And just let me now tell you this important date. November 18th is actually the first day that you can mail in your absentee ballot. So that's today. So surprise. If you have not requested your absentee ballot, I will provide that at the end of the live stream and in a comment below. So please make sure that you either use it yourself or send it to your friends, family members. I know that it's going to be colder now. You might be having some planning travels. Make sure that you turn out. And the best way that you could do it from the comfort of your home is through doing your absentee ballot. So don't forget to request them, and you can start sending them now. And December 7th, which is coming up rather soon, is the voter registration deadline to vote in the runoff. And like I've told you in multiple posts, if you do turn 18 by January 5th, you can vote. So my young people that have not, we've actually been getting some comments in our Instagram and Twitter that, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to be 18 by then, so I can register. And I'm like, yeah, of course. So it's just really, really amazing to see the excitement of a lot of, the TikTok Generation Z being excited about voting. It warms my little heart, my little civic engagement heart. So very, very exciting to hear that. And yeah, December 14th is when early voting begins. So personally, I probably would be going with me and my family during then. And like I told you last week, my little brother and my mom are going to be joining me and my sister. So, my mom, because she recently became naturalized, and my little brother, because he's going to turn 18 December 12th. So he would be 18 by this January 5th. So just exciting things happening in my own personal life. And just to make it a team activity, / family activity, so you could do the same with your family. So it's just really exciting. So do the same, And of course, January 5th is the election day. That's really important to keep in mind and to organize till then. Yeah, we just been, and like I told you last week, and I'm going to keep reiterating, this is not something that happened by chance. This is something that has been worked on for years. And we're just proud that, a lot of the work was led by youth and as well as Black and Brown led organizations. So, all politics is local. We know what works. We know what doesn't. So, with all the added attention, please defer to these organizations. You can definitely do it in multiple ways, contributing. And I'm actually going to post, for you guys that want to, because I've been asked before. I'm going to put below our link to donate. So yeah, if you want to send that to your friends that want to, if they can contribute financially, we definitely appreciate it. But as well, we need a lot of people to volunteer for text banks and just making sure that we get out, register as much people as we want and remind them to show out and turn out. So I will also post the volunteer link for you, any of you that want to help us out. So let us go on to the next topic. It's within the same, same sense, but, I just want to make sure that we're just, mentioning once again that we're just happy that the amount of voters, casting ballots and doing their civic duties over the past few weeks. But unfortunately, we have seen that some politicians see the amount of voters as a threat, which is one why, you know, there's been a lot of disenfranchisement in the past. So we just want to make sure that, you know, these new obstacles that have been put are, you know, don't make it harder for our communities to vote. So we want to make sure that we turn out and, you know, we defy all these just attacks on our democracy. You know, it should be in a sense of like, the more people vote, the better. That's just would, you know, what I think is common sense, but, you know, some people see it differently. So yeah, just I want to tell you straight up that, you know, the integrity of our elections has been upheld, and this is not just me telling you. This is actually our Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, actually said that, you know, there's been this election, and this is his words: transparent, orderly, and lawful. But it's sad, you know, that it has been reported that, you know, some of his colleagues has, you know, that he's just facing significant pressure to throw out legitimately cast ballots, and just reverse the will of the voters. And, you know, let's just call a spade a spade. This is an attack on our democracy at its core. I think that we could definitely, you know, recount is something, you know, that happens in every single election, but let's not say that there has been fraud when that's just not the case. Yeah, so we're just excited to continue doing that. The audit is supposed to conclude today, and it seems like, you know, Joe Biden is leading with a comfortable 5-figure lead. So we will see, you know, once it's officially officiated, but the numbers are the way that they are. So we will see, but yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how everything will continue, especially now with the next couple of weeks with the new Senate elections. And now let's jump into that. I will tell you that the polls recently, in the last couple of years, honestly, since 2016, the polls have been all over the place. You know, it's just been a mixed bag. Some of them have been correct, some of them have been extremely off. But, you know, just even with that, it's showing, and, you know, the past general election, November 3rd, show that these two Senate races are extremely close. So the will of the voters are the ones that are going to decide the Senate race come January 5th, or if you want to vote early, you know, in December. Yeah, so I definitely want to make sure that keep reiterating that it's extremely close. We will be the tiebreakers. And what's at stake, you know, because that's something that a lot of times, you know, we're just humans, and that's how we compute, like, what's going on, like, do it, you know, because there's normally a huge drop in turnout when it comes to runoff elections. But the control of the Senate is at stake. And to be completely honest, I'm just going to be, you know, tell you straight up, like, what's at stake, you know, specifically things that matter to our young people is student loan forgiveness, as well as climate change. And, you know, and this is not just for young people, but for people as a whole, you know, just healthcare access. I think that is something that, specifically with this pandemic, it has been exacerbated how much we need access or for, you know, our disenfranchised communities of color, because they have been disproportionately affected by this pandemic. So yeah, we got to show out, you know, take the fam, like I told you, we got to do it. And just give you some facts about the, you know, the people. I mean, I'm sure that you've seen it, if, you know, maybe you've been under a rock, but that's the, you know, maybe we got some new viewers from outside of the state. But specifically, we have Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler competing against Democrat Raphael Warnock. And then we have, and that's the first race. And then the second race is Senator David Perdue, who is a Republican, against Democrat Jon Ossoff. So, you know, it's going to be double whammy, double the fun, double the election. So, yeah, it's just going to be interesting. And yeah, there's pretty much, there's a current deadlock. It's 48-48 in the U.S. Senate, with the rest of the states already decided and being called for. So pretty much that leaves Georgia as the decider. So that's why it's so important we show out. So let's go on to our next segment, which is the Rona updates. This is my updates where I give you just kind of like a good wrap up, or some good numbers of what's happening with Rona. Seems like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're seeing that there's 2 vaccines now with a success rate of 90+%. That is crazy, especially with the amount of the short amount of time that this has been produced, because normally vaccines take about 10 years to develop. So the fact that they have been able to expedite this, is, just shows you that is a breakthrough in science, and we commend them. Moderna actually is the one that has actually close ties to here in the state, because a lot of the trials that they held nationally happen here through Emory. So and it seems like there's a high success rate. So but I will tell you that does not mean that we can be out here going to the clubs and going to bars, and yes, I want you to be, enjoy your family time, but be mindful. Like, please be safe. Please wear your mask. I know that we're tired of it. I mean, it's been so many months, but we must continue adhering. Dr. Fauci said that, if we don't, adhere to wearing our masks and, actually social distancing and being mindful of everything going on, an additional 200,000 Americans could die by the time that most people get vaccinated. And we want to make sure that we avoid that. Of course, the vaccine is going to go to the frontline people. So it's going to be like, the nurses as well as the doctors working. So yeah, it's just definitely, we're probably not going to see it till like sometime in the spring. So definitely we want to make sure that during these holiday times or these colder times that you are very careful, because we want to make sure that we just don't want to deal with a season of sickness and mortality. We want to deal with a protected, careful season of joy and carefulness. So yeah, that's where we're at. Is they definitely want to begin giving it out as soon as possible, but it's very exciting. It's so seeing how that is, and hopefully everything works out to where we get rid of this hopefully sometime next year. But we'll see. Science will tell. And yeah, I just keep telling y'all that all voting is local. This has been very important, and shows how the will of the voter and how strong our voting power is. So continue being civically engaged, continue voicing your voice locally. For the Senate, these 2 senators that we sent to the U.S. Senate are the ones that are going to represent us on our day-to-day. So we got to make sure that they are working for us. And yeah, just make it go with your fam. The call to action that I'm leaving you with is register your friends, register your fam. There's a large number of young voters that are going to be able to vote, like I told you, by the January 5th election. So make sure you register those people, send it to those people, because we got to make sure that we have all hands on deck. So thank you so much. That concludes another Tea Time with Brian. I really appreciate you guys joining me week by week. And actually, I don't know if this is just a little preview. It's still on the works, but this is my regular Tea Time with Brian, but we're going to have a Tea Time Unfiltered coming up. I believe it's going to be on Mondays, but don't hold me to that. But I'm just excited because it's going to be on a C4 page, of course, Georgia Shift Action. Yeah, I can just be a little more raw there. So I'm excited for that. But definitely want to make sure that you still turn out to this one. This is our very exciting, and I love joining you when you guys join me. And I've been getting some really great feedback. So thank you again, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.